Hey, welcome back. This is Math, Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Multiply Decimals by Whole Numbers. We start with a review of Lesson 2. Get your math notebooks out. Show me these 7 problems. Estimating each product. You do not have to show the exact answer. Show all your work in your math notebook. Press play when you're ready to continue. Check your answers here. Essential question: how can estimating be helpful? What will we learn today? To multiply decimals, to annex zeros in the product. Those zeros are what we call placeholders. Number 1, find 4 times 83 hundredths. So we've got a bar graph with 4 pieces, each piece being 83 hundredths. Estimate 4 and 83 hundredths, they're going to round up to the nearest one whole, so 4 times 1 is 4. So we estimate our answer should be approximately 4. We do the multiplication. We remember that if there's two decimal points in one of the factors and none in the other, we put 2 decimal points down here. What I say is they're stuck in there. He has to jump out. It takes him 2 jumps to get out. He falls straight down and 2 jumps to get back in. Check for reasonableness. We thought it was approximately 4. 3.32 is approximately 4. Check. Here's another example. Find 2 times 45 hundredths. Show your work in your math notebook. Pause while you're working. Press play when you're ready to go on. Number 2, find 3 times 14 and 2/10. So we can see what that looks like. 3 groups of 14 and 2/10. We're going to estimate 3 times 14. The 2/10 tells us to leave it alone. 3 times 14 is 42. We do the multiplication. We see that I have 1 digit in this factor, so that digit has to get out, fall down, and jump back in. Two decimal places, place the decimal point 2 places from the right. This is incorrect. It's 1 decimal point and 1 decimal point in here. The book is wrong. Be able to tell me at group that you noticed that the book was wrong. Check for reasonableness. 42 and 6/10 is approximately 42. Check. Here's another example. 5 times 17 and 8/10. What do you think that 8/10 is going to do to the 17? Would you leave it alone or would you round up? Pause your video, show all your work in your math notebook, press play when you're ready to go on. Number 3, find 4 times 95 hundredths. Again, we visualize what 4 groups of 95 hundredths would look like. 4 times 1 equals 4, so the 9500, we're going to round up to the nearest one whole. We estimate that our answer should be close to 4. Use the bar diagram to find the product. 95 hundredths has 2 decimal points. We have to carry as we multiply. Place the decimal point how many places from the right? So this decimal point's here. It takes him 2 jumps to get out. He falls straight down and he takes 2 jumps back in. Check for reasonableness. 3 and 80 hundredths is approximately 4, and we estimated that it would be 4. Check. Here's another example. Find 5 times 26 hundredths. Be careful with your decimal point. Show all your work in your notebook. Pause while you're working. Press play when you're ready to continue. Number 4, find 2 times 0 and 18 thousandths. I'm going to multiply, carry as I multiply. I've got 3 digits in this decimal, jumps out, falls down, jumps back in, 3 jumps. 3 decimal places, annex a 0 on the left of 36 to make 3 decimal places. So if it jumped out 3 times, it has to jump back in 3 times, and the answer only had 2 digits. So we put a placeholder and then our decimal point. This placeholder keeps the numbers in the proper place. Without this 0, you will get the answer wrong. Check by adding. I can add 18 thousandths plus 18 thousandths. And I get 0 and 36 thousandths. Check. Here's another example. Find 3 times 16 thousandths. Pause your notebook, show me all the work, press play when you're ready to go on. Number 5, find 4 times 12 thousandths. 12 thousandths has 3 decimal places times 4. Notice that for this lesson we are multiplying times whole numbers. This second factor does not have any decimals. We do the multiplying, annex what to make the decimal places. So there are 3 decimal points here. I need 3 decimal places down here, but only 2 digits. So I'm going to annex a 0 to make 3 decimal places. Put a 0 here, then your decimal point, and a 0 in the whole numbers for good form. Check by adding. We can add 4 12 thousandths. And we get 48 thousandths. Check. Here's another example. Find 3 times 22 thousandths. Show all of your work in your math notebook. Remember that you may need to annex a 0. Press play when you're ready to go on. Number 6, a batch of trail mix calls for 1 2/10 pounds of dry cereal. Nigella is making 5 batches of trail mix. She already has 2 2/10 pounds of cereal. How many more pounds of dry cereal does she need? We're going to multiply 1 2/10 times 5, and that is 6 0/10. There's 1 decimal place in this factor, so we put 1 decimal place in the product. Subtract 6 0/10 minus 2 2/10. She still needs 3 8/10. Here's another example. A berry muffin recipe calls for 7/500 cups of blueberries. Paul is making 5 batches. He already has 2 5/10 cups of blueberries. How many more does he need? Press the pause key. Show all your work in your math notebook. Make sure you get the decimal point in the right place. Check your answer and press play to continue. How did what you learned today help you answer the essential question, how can estimating be helpful? A sample answer would be, estimating is helpful to check my answer when multiplying decimals. Your ticket out the door. Find 18 5/10 times 7. Show your work in your math notebook. That's all for now.